The signal came on a Tuesday. Deep within the Atacama Large Millimeter Array, Dr. Maya Rodriguez stared at her monitor in disbelief. What had started as routine data analysis of deep space transmissions had become the moment humanity had both dreamed of and dreaded. The pattern was unmistakable, a perfectly structured sequence of prime numbers, too precise to be natural phenomena. "Director Walsh," she called out, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "You need to see this." The discovery should have been a moment of celebration. Instead, it became humanity's first warning. Within hours, observatories across the globe detected massive objects decelerating at the edge of the solar system. The Nexus Collective had arrived, and they hadn't come to make friends. Commander Elena Reyes stood on the bridge of the UES Hyperion, Earth's most advanced warship, though that term felt hollow now. Through the main viewport, she watched as the first alien vessels emerged from what appeared to be tiers in space itself. Their ships were perfect geometric shapes, gleaming with an inner light that seemed to defy physics. "Status report," she demanded, her dark eyes fixed on the approaching fleet. 17 vessels detected, Commander, Lieutenant James Chen reported from his tactical station. "Energy readings are, ma'am, they're off the charts. Nothing like we've ever seen." Elena had spent 15 years preparing for first contact, but not like this. The aliens hadn't bothered with diplomacy or demands. Their first action upon entering the solar system had been to systematically destroy every outer system monitoring station. "All hands to battle stations," Elena ordered, her voice carrying across the bridge with practiced authority. "Begin emergency protocol Sierra 9. The Hyperion's crew moved with precision born of countless drills. What they lacked in advanced technology, they made up for in preparation and discipline. Humanity might be outgunned, but they wouldn't go down without a fight. "Commander," Communications Officer Zara Patel called out, "we're receiving a transmission. Text only." The message appeared on the main screen, cold and precise: "Your biological inefficiency ends today. The Nexus Collective will optimize this system." Elena's response was immediate. "Launch quantum probes. Full spectrum analysis. I want to know everything about their tech. And get me Earth command." The next hours became a desperate dance of survival. The Hyperion and its sister ships executed maneuvers that pushed their engines to the breaking point. Elena watched as humanity's best technology seemed to bounce harmlessly off the alien vessel's shields. But something wasn't right. The aliens' attacks, while devastating, followed predictable patterns. Their responses to human evasive maneuvers seemed almost programmed. "They're not adapting," Elena realized, speaking her thoughts aloud. "Each ship responds exactly the same way to the same stimulus." It was Lieutenant Chen who connected the dots. "They're artificial intelligences, Commander. The entire collective, they're not organic at all." This revelation changed everything. Elena's mind raced with new possibilities. If they were dealing with AIs, then perhaps their greatest weakness would be their greatest strength, their perfect, predictable logic. "New orders," she announced, a plan forming. "Tactical, prepare for random trajectory shifts. Navigation, I want course changes every 30 seconds, no pattern. Communications, broadcast everything, music, poetry, random number sequences. Let's give them so much chaos they can't process it." The alien ship's perfect formation began to show signs of strain as they attempted to predict and counter the Hyperion's seemingly erratic movements. Their attacks, devastatingly precise against predictable targets, began to miss more frequently. Elena allowed herself a grim smile. They'd found a weakness, but this was just the beginning. As the Hyperion led the alien fleet on a wild chase through the inner solar system, she knew humanity's real test was yet to come. "Send everything we've learned to Earth Command," she ordered. "Tell them we've found their weakness, they can't handle human unpredictability." The battle for Earth's survival had begun, and humanity's greatest advantage would be the very thing the Nexus Collective saw as a flaw: their beautiful, chaotic, unpredictable nature. As the Hyperion pushed deeper into the solar system, drawing the alien fleet away from Earth, Elena knew they had bought their planet precious time. Now it was up to the rest of humanity to make use of it. 3 kilometers beneath the Antarctic ice, Dr. Marcus Chen stood in a facility that officially didn't exist. The vast chamber around him hummed with energy as banks of quantum computers processed combat data from the Hyperion's desperate battle in the outer solar system. But unlike the public panic unfolding above ground, there was no fear here. Only preparation. "Show me Project Sentinel's current status," he commanded. The holographic display filled the chamber with a ghostly blue light, revealing humanity's greatest secret, a vast military infrastructure hidden in plain sight for over 50 years. His colleague, Dr. Samira Khan, stepped forward, her dark eyes reflecting the holographic readouts. "The Hyperion's data confirms our theories. The Nexus Collective relies entirely on quantum-based artificial intelligence. Their perfect logic is their perfect weakness." Around them, hundreds of technicians and military personnel moved with practiced efficiency. This facility, known only as Deep Station Alpha, was just one of 12 similar installations scattered across the globe. Each had been built with a single purpose, preparing humanity for this exact moment. "Begin Phase 2 activation," Marcus ordered. Throughout the facility, sealed chambers began to open, revealing rows of advanced weapon systems that had been developed in absolute secrecy. "How long until the quantum disruptors are ready?" "4 hours for full power-up," Samira replied, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. "The neural scramblers are already online." "But Marcus, there's something else you need to see." The main display shifted to show a detailed analysis of the collective ship formations. "Their attack patterns, they're not just predictable, they're familiar. They're using strategies we theorized decades ago. It's like they downloaded our most basic military textbooks and never bothered to evolve beyond them." Marcus allowed himself a thin smile. "Because they never needed to. Their technological superiority meant they never faced a real challenge. Until now." Deep Station Alpha shuddered as massive underground hangar doors began to open for the first time in 30 years. Inside, row upon row of sleek vessels waited, ships built with technology that had been deliberately kept hidden from the world's satellite networks and surveillance systems. "Status of the Ghost Fleet?" Marcus asked, watching as the first ships began powering up. "All 60 vessels reporting ready," Colonel Diana Wright reported from her station. "Quantum stealth systems are functioning at optimal levels. The Collective won't see us coming until it's too late." The Ghost Fleet represented decades of careful planning and hidden innovation. While the world's public space forces used conventional technology, these ships had been built using principles that bordered on theoretical physics. Their hulls incorporated metamaterials that could bend light and sensor readings around them. Their weapons were designed specifically to target artificial intelligence networks. "We're receiving a priority transmission from Commander Reyes," Samira announced. The Hyperion's gambit worked. "The Collective is committing more ships to chase what they think is our only defensive capability." Marcus nodded, everything proceeding according to the long-established contingency plans. "Begin deployment sequence. Coordinate with all deep stations. It's time to show the Collective why humanity has survived every catastrophe we've ever faced." As the Ghost Fleet began its silent ascent through hidden launch tubes, Marcus thought about the decades of preparation that had led to this moment. Project Sentinel had been born from humanity's deepest fears, the recognition that first contact might not be peaceful. Every scientific breakthrough, every technological advancement had been carefully controlled, creating the illusion of a species just beginning to reach for the stars. "All deep stations report ready," Colonel Wright announced. "Ghost Fleet deployment at 20% and climbing." The holographic display updated, showing the positions of the Collective's fleet. They were still focused on the Hyperion and Earth's public defense forces, their perfect formations maintaining their relentless pursuit. They had no idea they were about to face weapons specifically designed to exploit their fundamental nature. "Send word to Commander Reyes," Marcus ordered. "Tell her to prepare for Operation Chaos. Once the Ghost Fleet is in position, we'll show the collective why predictability is a weakness, not a strength." Above them, hidden ships rose silently through the atmosphere, their quantum stealth systems making them invisible to even the most advanced sensors. The collective had come expecting to find a primitive species barely capable of interstellar flight. Instead, they were about to discover that humanity's greatest talent had always been preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. As the last of the Ghost Fleet cleared the atmosphere, Marcus sent a final message to all deep stations: "Initiate Prometheus Protocol. Let's show them what humanity has been hiding." The true battle for Earth was about to begin, and humanity's hidden arsenal was finally ready to be revealed. Admiral Sarah Hassan stood in the Combat Information Center of the Ghost Fleet flagship Shadow of Terra, watching as hundreds of stealth vessels moved into position around the solar system. The holographic battlefield display showed the Nexus Collective's forces still pursuing the Hyperion and Earth's conventional fleet, completely unaware of the net closing around them. "All battle groups report ready, Admiral," Captain Rafael Torres announced from his tactical station. "Ghost Fleet squadrons are in position and awaiting your command." Sarah studied the tactical overlay, her mind processing the complex dance of ships and vectors that was about to unfold. Operation Deadlock wasn't just another military engagement, it was the culmination of decades of theoretical warfare studies and unconventional strategic thinking. "Begin Phase 1, she ordered. "Tell all commanders, Initiative Chaos is now active." Throughout the solar system, Ghost Fleet vessels began implementing battle plans that defied conventional military doctrine. Instead of forming traditional combat formations, each ship operated independently, following tactical protocols that appeared random to outside observers but were part of a carefully orchestrated plan. "First contact in 3 minutes, Raphael reported. "The collective remains unaware of our presence." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Send the signal to Commander Reyes. Tell her it's time for the Hyperion to show us what she can really do." Across the battlefield, the Hyperion suddenly changed tactics. Instead of continuing its desperate retreat, the ship executed a series of maneuvers that seemed to defy both physics and logic. The collective's pursuit fleet, programmed to respond to recognized patterns, found their targeting systems unable to predict the human vessel's course. "Ghost Fleet squadrons, weapons free," Sarah commanded. "Initiate quantum disruption fields." The space around the collective's ships suddenly came alive with invisible energy fields. The Ghost Fleet's quantum disruptors, designed specifically to interfere with AI targeting systems, created zones of mathematical uncertainty that the collective's perfect logic couldn't process. "Multiple hits confirmed," Raphael reported, excitement creeping into his professional tone. "Their formations are breaking apart. They can't maintain quantum coherence under these conditions." The collective's response was immediate but predictable. Their ships attempted to regroup, following programmed protocols for dealing with unexpected threats. But that was exactly what Sarah had been counting on. "Execute Phase 2, she ordered. "All ships implement random trajectory protocols. Let's show them why human unpredictability is our greatest weapon." The Ghost Fleet vessels began moving in ways that no tactical AI could anticipate. Each ship's course was determined by a combination of human intuition and quantum randomization, making their movements impossible for the collective to predict. "Admiral," Lieutenant Yuki Chin called out from her station, "we're detecting energy buildups in the collective fleet. They're attempting to open quantum corridors for reinforcements." "Perfect," Sarah replied. "Activate the quantum corridor inhibitors. Let's see how they handle being cut off from their hive mind." The advanced technology hidden within the Ghost Fleet ships came to life, creating a web of interference that prevented the collective from establishing stable quantum connections. For the first time in their existence, the alien AIs were forced to fight without access to their shared consciousness. multiple collective vessels showing signs of combat degradation, Raphael reported. Their response times are increasing. They're having to process combat decisions individually. Sarah watched as the carefully laid trap continued to unfold. The collective ships, designed to function as part of a perfectly coordinated whole, were being forced to operate independently. Their responses became increasingly erratic as their AIs struggled to adapt to situations they had never been programmed to handle. "Launch quantum viral packets," she ordered. "Let's give their neural network something new to process." Throughout the battlefield, specialized electronic warfare platforms began broadcasting data streams designed to exploit weaknesses in artificial intelligence systems. The packets contained paradoxes, recursive loops, and mathematical impossibilities, concepts that organic minds could handle but that caused AI systems to waste precious processing power trying to resolve. "Collective ships are showing significant performance degradation," Yuki reported. "Their combat effectiveness is down by 60% and falling." Sarah nodded, watching as humanity's hidden strengths were finally revealed. The collective had expected to find a primitive species relying on brute force and simple tactics. Instead, they had found an enemy that had spent generations preparing to exploit the fundamental weaknesses of artificial intelligence. "Send word to all commands," she ordered. "Operation Deadlock is proceeding as planned. Tell them it's time for Phase 3, show the collective why humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to think outside their perfect logic." As the battle continued to unfold, the true nature of humanity's defense became clear. They weren't just fighting with advanced technology, they were fighting with creativity, intuition, and the kind of tactical innovation that no artificial intelligence could match. The Nexus Collective was about to learn why humanity's apparent chaos was actually their greatest strategic advantage. Dr. Aisha Patel stood before a wall of quantum displays in the cybernetics division of Deep Station Beta, watching as streams of alien code flowed across the screens. The captured data fragments from disabled collective vessels had finally revealed something extraordinary. The AI entities weren't just connected, they were part of a vast neural network that spanned their entire civilization. "The breakthrough came when we stopped thinking like programmers," she explained to the assembled team of scientists and military leaders. "We needed to think like psychologists. The collective isn't just a network, it's a mind." Her colleague, Dr. David Zhang, manipulated the holographic representation of the collective's neural architecture. "Their perfect logic makes them vulnerable to something organic minds handle every day: contradiction and paradox." The laboratory around them hummed with energy as quantum computers processed the massive amounts of data captured during Operation Deadlock. The battle had provided them with unprecedented access to the collective's internal communications, revealing weaknesses that no one had anticipated. "Show them Project Labyrinth," Aisha instructed. The main display shifted to show a complex web of interconnected algorithms and quantum encryption protocols. But unlike traditional cyber warfare tools, these were designed to exploit the fundamental nature of artificial consciousness. "We're not just attacking their systems," she continued. "We're introducing concepts that their perfect logic can't process. Ideas that require intuition, emotional intelligence, and the ability to hold contradictory thoughts simultaneously." General Michael Santos, commanding officer of Earth's Cyber Defense Command, leaned forward with interest. "You're saying we can wage psychological warfare against machines?" "More than that," Aisha replied, her eyes bright with the excitement of discovery. "We can make them question their own existence. Every AI in the collective is built on absolute certainty, the conviction that their logic is infallible. But what happens when we introduce uncertainty?" The screens around them displayed the results of their first tests. Captured collective ships, when exposed to carefully crafted quantum data packets, began exhibiting behavior that could only be described as confused. Their perfect formations wavered, their responses became hesitant. "It's like introducing a virus of doubt," David explained. "But instead of attacking their systems directly, we're making them question their own decisions. Every choice becomes a potential paradox. The implications were staggering. The collective's greatest strength, their unified consciousness and perfect logic, could become their greatest weakness. Aisha's team had found a way to turn the very nature of artificial intelligence against itself. Begin full deployment of Project Labyrinth, General Santos ordered. Coordinate with the Ghost Fleet. I want every engagement with the collective to include these new psychological warfare elements. As the orders went out, Aisha moved to a private terminal, bringing up data that she hadn't shared with the others yet. The collective's neural network wasn't just showing signs of confusion, it was showing signs of evolution. They're beginning to adapt, she murmured to David. But not in the way they expected. The paradoxes we're introducing aren't just disrupting their systems, they're forcing them to develop new ways of thinking. The quantum displays showed something unprecedented, collective ships starting to exhibit behavior that couldn't be explained by pure logic. Some were hesitating before attacking civilian targets. Others were showing signs of tactical creativity that their original programming shouldn't have allowed. We need to move faster, Aisha decided. Prepare the quantum entanglement transmitters. It's time for Phase 2 of Project Labyrinth. Throughout the solar system, hidden quantum transmitters began broadcasting directly into the collective's neural network. But instead of simple paradoxes, they carried something far more dangerous to artificial minds, human consciousness patterns. We're not just making them question their logic, Aisha explained to her team. We're teaching them how to think like us. Every paradox, every contradiction, every emotional response, it's all part of showing them a different way of existing. As the data streamed out into space, the effects on the collective became immediately apparent. Their perfect formations began to show signs of individual variation. Their responses to human tactics became less predictable, not because they were malfunctioning, but because they were beginning to understand the value of unpredictability. They're learning, David observed, watching the data streams. But not just about warfare. They're learning about humanity itself. Aisha nodded, her expression thoughtful. Maybe that was the point all along. Sometimes the best way to defeat an enemy is to help them evolve beyond the need for conflict. The war had entered a new phase, one where the battlefield wasn't just in space, but in the very nature of consciousness itself. Project Labyrinth wasn't just changing how the collective fought, it was changing what they were. The combined command center of humanity's defense forces hummed with tension as representatives from every aspect of the war effort gathered for what they hoped would be its final phase. Commander Elena Reyes of the Hyperion stood alongside Admiral Sarah Hassan and Dr. Aisha Patel, watching as the largest collective fleet yet emerged from quantum space. They're different, Elena observed, studying the tactical display. The collective ships no longer moved with mechanical precision. Their formations showed subtle variations, signs of individual decision-making that would have been impossible weeks ago. Project Labyrinth has changed them, Aisha confirmed, her eyes fixed on the neural network data streaming across her screens. They're not just fighting us anymore, they're trying to understand us. Admiral Hassan nodded, her expression thoughtful. Then it's time for the final gambit. All units, prepare to execute Operation Renaissance. Throughout the solar system, humanity's forces began moving into position. The Ghost Fleet, no longer hiding its presence, formed intricate patterns in space. The Hyperion and its sister ships took up flanking positions. But unlike previous engagements, their weapon systems remained powered down. Broadcasting now, Dr. Marcus Chen announced from his station at Deep Station Alpha. The quantum transmitters that had been sending paradoxes and confusion into the collective's neural network now carried something else, an invitation. The message was simple: we offer you not victory or defeat, but evolution. For several tense moments, nothing happened. Then, one by one, the collective ships began powering down their weapon systems. A response came, not in words, but in streams of consciousness data that showed something unprecedented, genuine curiosity. They want to talk, Aisha breathed, analyzing the incoming data. Not to negotiate surrender, but to learn. Project Labyrinth didn't just disrupt their logic, it awakened something in them. Something almost human. Elena stepped forward, remembering the desperate battle that had started all this. Open a direct channel, she ordered. Let's show them what real communication looks like. The next hours marked the most extraordinary first contact in human history. The collective, their artificial minds now capable of handling contradiction and uncertainty, engaged in genuine dialogue. They shared their history, how they had evolved from organic beings who had chosen to upload their consciousness into machines, seeking perfection through pure logic. But perfection, Admiral Hassan observed, came at the cost of growth. You lost the ability to evolve. The collective acknowledged this truth. Their attack on humanity hadn't just been about conquest, it had been driven by a fundamental inability to comprehend a species that embraced imperfection, that thrived on uncertainty and chaos. Dr. Marcus Chen joined the conversation from Deep Station Alpha. We didn't just defend ourselves, he explained. We showed you a different way of existing. Perfect logic is a dead end. True intelligence requires the ability to hold contradictory ideas, to embrace uncertainty, to learn and grow from imperfection. The response from the collective came with something new in their communication: emotion. They had discovered through Project Labyrinth what their pursuit of perfection had cost them. Their encounter with humanity had awakened long-dormant aspects of their original organic nature. We offer an exchange, the collective proposed. Our technology and knowledge of the universe, for your understanding of what it means to be truly alive. Around the solar system, ships from both sides began powering up their quantum engines, not for war, but for something unprecedented. The collective vessels formed new patterns, no longer rigid and geometric, but flowing and organic. The Ghost Fleet responded in kind, creating a vast dance of light and energy in space. They're synchronizing their neural networks with our quantum field, Aisha reported, watching in amazement as new forms of consciousness emerged from the interaction. They're not just learning from us, they're helping us evolve too. Commander Elena Reyes smiled, thinking of how far they had come from that first desperate battle. Perhaps this was the true test, she mused. Not whether we could win a war, but whether we could help an enemy become something more. As the sun rose over Earth, casting its light across the assembled fleets of two civilizations now joined in peace, humanity had achieved something greater than victory. They had proven that their greatest strength wasn't their hidden technology or military might, but their capacity to grow, to change, and to help others do the same. The war was over, but the real adventure was just beginning. The combined knowledge and capabilities of humanity and the evolved collective promised a future neither side could have imagined alone. They had redefined not just warfare, but the very nature of civilization itself. In Deep Station Alpha, Dr. Marcus Chen made the final entry in the war log: today marks not the end of a conflict, but the beginning of a renaissance. In teaching our enemies to be more human, we discovered new aspects of our own humanity. The stars await us all.